Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease, like most neurodegenerative diseases, have in common that certain cells within the brain's circuitry start to become unable to function and eventually die. The symptoms that you get with these diseases, such as memory problems with Alzheimer's and motor control problems with Parkinson's, develop as those cells quit performing their function in the circuitry of the brain. I think the exciting news that's happened in the front of these neurodegenerative diseases is there has been a case report published now of a patient with a rapid onset young Alzheimer's condition who was cured and reversed and taken off all medicines for his condition after treatment with something called a Shoemaker-Bredesen protocol. We find that these people have very low levels of two hormones made by the area of the brain called the suprachiasmatic hypothalamus. This is the area of the brain that controls all of the endocrine glands in the body, the heart, the kidney, and actually seems to control whether or not your cells are going to burn energy and make the protein and fat that makes any cell the kind of cell that it is. And a protocol has now shown the ability to reverse that process and turn back, at least in one Alzheimer's patient, to turn the cells of the memory circuitry of the brain back on again so they will function normally and regenerate. This area of the brain that controls so much of our metabolism is the root cause of all of these things. Fixing that area of the brain so that it allows the metabolism of these cells to go back to normal is becoming a big focus in integrative and functional medicine, how to treat this. I think the problem is that this is rather esoteric medicine that's not published in major journals. Therefore, it's not being widely and rapidly adopted in the medical profession simply because most doctors really don't understand the complex biology going on in the suprachiasmatic hypothalamus. The work of a doctor by the name of Richie Shoemaker, approximately 10 years ago, who began to identify that chronic inflammation from biotoxin causes could stimulate the body's response that we have to viruses to go on all day long. So that feeling you get when you get influenza, where you get achy and tired and fatigued and your brain doesn't work very well, that can be made to turn on at a low level all day long in something called chronic inflammatory response syndrome. Dr. Bredesen from California actually thought that this could also occur to people at a much slower speed, and if it did so, it would lead to neurodegenerative diseases. And it was in that setting that he then took a patient with neurodegenerative Alzheimer's disease and treated him through a modification of the Shoemaker protocol to turn back on the areas of the brain that control fat and protein production and energy burning. The hippocampi of his brain actually increased in volume and the patient's symptoms were relieved. I wouldn't want to tell any patient with a neurodegenerative disease that we have clearly proven that we can help them with any known percentages. Right now we don't have a formal series of people so treated. We only have anecdotal reports of people who have responded. Nevertheless, it makes biochemical sense and it makes biological sense that the Shoemaker-Bredesen protocols should help neurodegenerative diseases. Reducing chronic inflammation requires a lot of commitment on the patient's part. Dietary and lifestyle changes, remediation of homes that are water damaged are all important in completing this process. But if those steps are undertaken and somebody's willing to go through that process, then it's possible to complete a Shoemaker-Bredesen type protocol with the potential to actually help anybody who is suffering from a malfunction of their suprachiasmatic hypothalamus. If you're interested in learning more about neurodegenerative diseases like benign essential tremor, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's disease, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm Dr. Dan Stock at PureHealth Functional Family Medicine, 317-559-2515, or you can email us at drstock@purehealthmed.com.